Good evening and welcome to your 2065 Perfect League World Series coverage. I am your host, DRC, and we have got a juicy one for you guys tonight, as the Las Vegas Outlaws will take on the Cleveland Naps for the ultimate crown in Perfect League land this week. It is my great honor and privilege to bring to you guys the play-by-play, the analysis as we watch each game unfold. We'll try to dig into what each manager is doing, how they're messing with their lineups, their pitching rotation, what decisions they have afforded to them in any given moment, and what they've decided to do. And we'll also let statistics guide the broadcast as well. We'll tell you how the players that are up in the key moments of this game performed historically within the Perfect League. So, as we always do, let's get prepared for this matchup here by looking at our team. So, who is in this big game here, and what does their team look like? We will start with the Cleveland Naps. And as always, we'll start by looking at some high-level team statistics for them. We'll start with runs scored. So 812 runs scored on the season, which is good for second in the NC in Perfect League. There are 20 teams in the conference, and they rank in at second in run scoring. So this is a team that can run up the score on you and score runs in bunches. But look at run prevention. Only 715 runs allowed during the course of the season, fourth best in the conference. So a team that not only paces the field in terms of how often they're crossing home plate, but also just as deadly in run prevention. And they're doing so, next thing we'll check here is defense. They're doing so with a good defensive effort. A .708 defensive efficiency is a very high mark, and one that dictates their success. This has definitely been a team that not only scores runs, but catches the ball as well. You see that with that defensive efficiency there, as well as a solid, if unspectacular, zone rating. From a home-road split perspective, you see some domination at home here. 53 and 28, good for a .654 win percentage. On the road, they had some struggles. So 36 and 45 on the road. We'll see if those struggles follow them here into this series. Let's look at the ballpark. So the Naps, what do they call home? They call it League Park, and the way that it plays is very left-handed heavy. So we see this is your typical lefty cheese park from an average and home run perspective, with lefties entirely boost from an average perspective and a home run perspective. And then the extra bases, the gaps, the doubles and triples are right down the middle, neutral. From a player's perspective, we do have another Shoeless Joe. And a spoiler alert, this isn't going to be the only one we're seeing tonight, but we've got the brand new special edition Shoeless Joe Jackson in play in both the versus right and versus left lineup. In addition to Shoeless Joe, we've got something that's becoming a more regular occurrence as well, and that is an everyday Nap Lajoie. And let me get some props in the chat for pronouncing Nap Lajoie for the first time correctly on any stream. A couple other things to note here. So Rogers Hornsby. Hornsby is in the lineup versus right. Now for a lefty cheese team, that is somewhat atypical. Oftentimes, you'll see both first base and third base occupied by a left-handed bat, whether it's a Roger Connor, a Lou Gehrig, a Juan Soto. But we see that Hornsby is playing the hot corner and Wade Boggs at first base. We also have our first ever Thurman Munson sighting. So Thurman Munson, brand new card, one whose value is inflated not just by being a good card, but by being part of the plaque-worthy content set that gets you the new Shoeless Joe. And we've got Thurman Munson in this World Series and starting in the versus left lineup for the first time. Let's talk pitching. So from a pitching perspective, we have a classic lefty cheese rotation here. We'll sort by games started and see that most of our starts here are going to lefties, but you do see Pedro and Walter sneaking in there as well. And I'm guessing that these are heavily slanted towards road starts and heavily shielded in terms of making sure they're not too vulnerable in the home park when they do have to make either a relief appearance or a start. One other interesting decision I wanted to point out for this team is that we've got Bruce Sutter. It's not odd to have Bruce Sutter on a Perfect League World Series roster. It is odd to have him as the closer and have him as the closer over Trevor Hoffman and over Mariano Rivera. That's not something that we've ever seen before. So we'll see if Bruce Sutter finds himself in a key moment and is able to validate that decision made by M. Wayne 418. All right, so that is the players for the Cleveland Naps. Let's look at their path. How did they get here? So the Naps, 3-2 over the Titans in round one, and it's more exciting than that. It was a reverse sweep. So the Titans get up in that series 2-0, and the Naps rally for 3 consecutive victories, and all of them pretty overwhelming. None of them were late game role lead reversals, but the Naps were able to take 3 straight games and do so in convincing fashion. They were able to take that momentum and bring that to the Elysian Fields 9 in the very next round and sweep them 4-0. But things got hot again. Things got challenging again for them in the best of 7 championship series versus the Buckaroo Bokais. Maybe I've got the pronunciation of that right. Maybe I don't. But the Naps were down 3-2 in that series and were able to rally back for a win in Game 6 and a win in Game 7. So in the Naps here, we have a team that is 5-0 in elimination games. They are coming into this series with ice water in their veins when it comes down to an elimination game. Now let's look at their history. So the Cleveland Naps are run by M. Wayne 418. And M. Wayne 418, this is his 10th week in the Perfect League, 7th opportunity within the Perfect League playoffs, and he is still hunting for that first ever Perfect League World Series ring. So we'll see if he gets it tonight. Now, opposing the Cleveland Naps is a team that most people are familiar with, the Las Vegas Outlaws, captained by none other than the king himself, Whale King. And he finds himself in the World Series tonight. Let's look at his team and how they performed. Now, dissimilar to the Naps that had elite run scoring and elite run prevention, Whale King's just good at one of those. He's good at run scoring. So 3rd in the AC in run scoring, 3rd out of 20 with 858 runs scored. Run prevention, though, below the median there. 14th in the conference, 773 allowed over the course of the season. So we have slightly under a 100 positive run differential for the King. And we see that that's at least partly due to some defensive deficiency. The Outlaws only 15th in the conference in terms of defensive efficiency here at a .679, which is well beneath the Cleveland Naps' .708 mark. So the Outlaws get their wins with their bats, as opposed to the Naps who are doing it with both the bats and the gloves. From a home-road split perspective, the Outlaws 593 at home, solid if unspectacular. On the road, 481. Again, solid road numbers for Perfect League. You're winning half your games on the road. You're doing a lot of things right. Now you see the Outlaws had a hot September, 17-9 to close it down. However, even though they only had 87 wins, the division was pretty comfortable. So the Outlaws win the division by 5 games, and certainly that the hot September helped that. But this wasn't a tight wild card slot that the Outlaws grabbed. This was a division that was pretty well in hand. Let's look at the ballpark. So, this one won't take but more than a few words. The Outlaws play in a completely stock and standard neutral ballpark. Ones across the board. Players. There's that Shoeless Joe again. And it's not just any Shoeless Joe. It's a fire Shoeless Joe. We see that there with the fire emoticon adorned to Shoeless Joe's line item there. We see some ice coming into the series as well. Ice coming from Cobb and Pudge Rodriguez. We'll see if that plays a factor. But in addition to Shoeless being in this roster, a couple other things jumped out at me. We've got an everyday Jackie. So we don't see everyday Jackies much anymore, and part of it is due to the defense. To have an everyday Jackie, you're probably having to run him at second, just as Whale King is here, and he's just not that competitive from a defensive perspective much anymore at the keystone spot. That could be partly why the Outlaws' defense was as low as it was. Now he pairs Jackie up the middle with Ozzie Smith, so he's putting out some defense there with him, which certainly helps from a range perspective. But other than that, you have some pretty standard cards here. So it's a neutral build, so you're not seeing it heavily slanted one way or the other. You've got Mays out there, patrolling center every day, so no Griffey, which is pretty standard in a neutral build. From a catcher perspective, you've got a Mauer Pudge platoon. So pretty straight down the middle from a player's perspective. Let's go to the pitching. So from a pitching perspective, we don't see much funny business here. We don't see a lot of mixed use players here in terms of being used as a starter and a reliever. We have straight up starts. All 5 of the starters did nothing but start, with the one exception of Tom Seaver having 1 relief appearance. And then the players tapped for that role are your typical 4 horses: Walter, Greg, Pedro, and Spawn. And then the wild card 5th coming in is that Seaver. And when you set your rotation to always start highest rested, that 5th starter isn't going to accrue too many innings. And you see that there with Seaver only logging 138 over the course of the season. Now, from a bullpen perspective, pretty standard names here. A couple surprises in terms of alignment. You got Trevor Hoffman all the way down in middle relief as opposed to a later innings role. That's at least slightly surprising. Then you've got Eric Gagne in a later inning role for setup. That's not a name that we've seen a ton of. So those are the players for the Whale King. That's who he's going to be bringing to this series. Now let's talk about the Whale King's path. Round 1, they take down the Baltimore Quarantiners 3-2. Round 2, they take down DLL Snowball in 5. And then round 3, a hotly contested 7-game series off of recent Perfect League World Series runner-up, the Brick Green Dragons. Take them to 7, and the Brick Green Dragons were up 3-1 in that one, but unable to close it down. The Outlaws rally to win 3 consecutive games and now find themselves in the Perfect League World Series. So, on the right side of the bracket, we've got the Cleveland Naps coming in with a 5-0 elimination game record, and we've got the Outlaws coming in with a 4-0 elimination game record, having won their Game 5 with the Quarantiners and having won their Game 5, 6, and 7 against the Brick Green Dragons. Oh, I'm sorry, Bender guy. I called you the runner-up. You won. I'm trying to take your 8 inches of plastic and give it to someone else. But hat tip to Bender guy for this encore. You don't often see someone go deep and win one week and then go deep in the runner-up. Go deep in the following week, I should say. All right, so let's talk one final thing for Mr. King. History. No stranger to the Perfect League. This was Whale King's 16th week in the Perfect League. This is his 10th playoff run. Now, we all remember the playoff run from 2050. So the Whale King is a Perfect League champion already, regardless of what happens tonight. The question is whether or not he becomes a two-time Perfect League champion, one of the few. I think we only have, in the multiple Perfect League championship rarefied air, I think we just have API, Jay Malay, and Mac Jax, if I'm not mistaken. So we've got a big matchup tonight. These are the two teams. Let's go ahead and do this side by side with our graphic here. Plug both teams in. So we've got Las Vegas versus Cleveland. So here's how they stack up. And not too surprisingly, Cleveland has a clean sweep here. Better in every category. Average, on-base percentage, slugging, OPS, defensive play percentage, ERA, FIP, WHIP, and favorable rating in terms of pitcher matchups. So who is going to win it tonight? Who's going to win and in how many games? Does Cleveland continue their ability to win elimination games? 5-0 in them so far. Do they bring that momentum in? They get to start the series at home in their Lefty Cheese Park. Do they capitalize on that and put themselves in position to win their first Perfect League World Series? Or does the King come in fresh off a 3-1 series reversal, and does he grab his second Perfect League World Series? Who's going to win and in how many games? So we've got Las Vegas in 7, Whale King in 6, which is Las Vegas. Yahtzee King in 6. So no one yet stamping their ticket for the Cleveland Naps. Bulletin board material for Cleveland as we're 1 minute away from our Game 1 sim. But if you're in the chat and you haven't made yourself heard yet, go ahead and draw your line. Tell me who's going to win and tell me in how many games they're going to do so. As I do a little button pressing on my end to line us up. Game 1 is promising Greg Maddux, face of the franchise, from Whale King. And we've got Steve Carlton listed to pitch for the Naps. We'll see what we actually see in Game 1. Sean Sull taking the Naps in 7. Yuka's got me in 8. Luke's got the Naps in 7. Tecate Pete's going Naps in 4. You know, I'll tell you what, on a night where we've got the Super Bowl going on, maybe a sweep wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Naps in 4. Slibbard with Naps in 5. Bender Guy, Whale King in 6. New Zealand breaks looking to know what Liam Hendricks Whale King is running in his pen. It would be Team of the Year. Liam Hendricks, a card that is widely utilized within Perfect League. No drops in the Super Bowl. That is a fact, Bailey. That is absolutely a fact. Naps in 2, says Fabic. Those would have to be two pretty lopsided wins. Naps in 6 from Jay Modenhall. Port Dog's got Whale King in 4. I think some of the things to watch, some of the key elements in this game is these games within Cleveland. So Cleveland, we know they struggled on the road. We know they had a great record at home. They're a lefty cheese team, which is not how the Outlaws are built. If Cleveland is not winning their home games, I think they're in a lot of trouble once they head to Las Vegas. All right, let's go try to pull down a sim here. Let's try to pull down a sim and get us started for Game 1. We have an unconfirmed report that Whale King is offering to buy everyone Arby's if he wins. Unconfirmed, though. All right, first sim is in. Let's jump in. It's game 1 time. So welcome back. Let's go ahead and set this baby up. We've got our matchup analyzer ready in the bottom right for the first time that we need it. But as we start this game, we see that the Naps are throwing out Warren Spahn as their ace, as their game 1 starter. And the first batter he's going to face is Jackie Robinson, special edition of the Negro Leagues collection. First pitch, and there's a bunt. Off the mound is Spahn fielding it, throwing on over to Wade Boggs. 1 up and 1 down, and this 2065 World Series is underway. We fast forward to the top of the third, still scoreless. Warren Spahn still on the mound, and he's having to pitch with Joe Mauer on first. 1 away, and Ozzie Smith at the plate. 1-2 count on him. The pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Mauer will take the turn and hold at second, but now there's 2 aboard as we flip this lineup over. And the Outlaws are in business in the third. 2-0 count on Jackie. The pitch. Line drive, base hit to right field. Fielding and throwing is shoeless, but not able to do so in time. The first run crosses the plate in the form of Joe Mauer. Make it 1-0 Outlaws here early in game 1. Still 1-0 and a clutch spot in the third. It's shoeless Joe Jackson time, his first highlight of this World Series. And a great opportunity for us to use our matchup analyzer. So let's go ahead and break out Shoeless Joe and show you how well he's done against left-handed pitching. And let's also break out Warren Spahn and show you how well he's done versus left-handed batting. As you see from Shoeless Joe's split in the bottom right of your screen, he's got an absolutely lethal 327, 367, 488 triple slash line versus left-hand pitching. Absolutely no left-handed batter can rival that triple slash line in Perfect League. So we'll see if he can come through here for the Outlaws as they look to stretch their lead. 2-2 count the pitch. That ball belted deep right field. It's out of here. The Outlaws stretch the lead to 4 with a 2-out, 415-foot home run off the bat of Shoeless Joe Jackson, generating return on investment for his card owners. We go bottom 4 now. The Naps have put up 1 run. They're looking for more. And who do we have at the plate? We've got Thurman Munson. His first ever Perfect League appearance, and he finds himself in a clutch spot here. Man in scoring position and 2 out. The pitch. That ball crushed to deep left field. Gone! Thurman Munson. Touch 'em all, big guy. 376 feet off a tough customer in Pedro Martinez. And he brings the Naps and their fans right back into this one. And it's 4-3. Bottom 4 now. Naps having visions of tying this one up, and they're sending Ozzie Smith to the plate with Tony Gwynn on second and 2 away. Facing Bob Feller, the pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Gwynn around third. He's going to try to score. The throw's coming all the way home. Not in time. Tie it up. We've got a brand new ball game here in Cleveland. Naps fans are loving it right now. And they'll send up their Shoeless Joe in a huge spot here in the 4th. Let's set this one up with our matchup analyzer as well. Let me get some Bob Feller numbers. And let me toggle the Shoeless Joe split to VR. Gets even better versus right. 979 OPS for Shoeless Joe. Facing a pitcher who really struggles to throw strikes versus left-handed batters. Let's see what happens here in the fourth. The pitch. He walked him. They're loaded now for Rogers Hornsby. We'll do a quick toggle here. Pull up our Rogers Hornsby versus right stats. And they're loaded. Everyone in the stadium on their feet looking to break open this game here in the fourth. The pitch. Strike 3 called. A huge strikeout for Bob Feller, getting himself out of trouble and stranding 3 for the Naps here in the fourth. Top 6 now. Outlaws trying to get back into the scoring business. They'll send Hornsby to the plate against Spawn to lead off the 6th. Wine and the pitch. That ball, fly ball to center. Way over the center fielder's head. What is even going on right now? Is this a ground rule double? It is a ground rule double. It was played very oddly by Willie Mays. It looked like he had no read off the bat. The ball sails over his head by 20 feet and then bounces as if it's got more English than the best pull shot you've ever seen right into the stands. The net of it is a leadoff double for Rogers Hornsby here in the 6th. Hornsby now works his way over to third, and Mays is at the plate with an opportunity to untie this game. We'll bring Willie Mays into our matchup analyzer and show his versus left split, and then we'll toggle Warren Spawn for his versus right. Matchup heavily favors the batter here as Willie Mays does a ton of damage versus left-hand pitching. Spawn looking for a strikeout here or something on the ground in the infield. The pitch. Fly ball hit well to deep left center. That ball's going to sail over the center fielder's head. That's an RBI double for Willie Mays, and the Outlaws are back in the lead. Very next batter is Wade Boggs. And we've got Noodles Hahn on the mound. So Noodles Hahn comes in for Warren Spawn, and the result is not favorable as Wade Boggs laces a double to the opposite field. That's going to score Willie Mays and make it 6-4. Las Vegas Outlaws here in the 6th. Still in the 6th. Noodles trying to find his way out of the inning, and he's going to work to Jackie Robinson here with first and third, and a full count. The pitch. He walked him. That'll bring up Gwynn with the bags jacked here. 1-2 count on Gwynn. Hahn in desperate need of an out, and he's getting a called strike 3. Fans love to see that. Get out of trouble. And we'll look to get to business here in the bottom half as they have a 2-run delta to try to close down. Full count on Gwynn as he faces Feller. The pitch. That's going to be a leadoff free pass. Bob Feller is known to do that versus left-handed batters, and he puts on the leadoff hitter. Up next, Ozzie Smith. 1-1 count on him. Seaver comes into the game. Seaver, we know, was a starter all season for the Outlaws. A reliever in the postseason. And Smith dinks a little foul ball here, but it is playable for the catcher, Joe Mauer. And that'll be the first out of the inning. So the Naps do not score in the 6th. We move to the 7th. They'll send up Hornsby to face Tom Seaver. 1-2 count on him. The wind and the pitch. That ball laced into right field, a base hit. Rogers Hornsby with a line drive single with one away here in the 7th. Very next batter up, Ty Cobb. First to pick runner back. 2-2 count on Cobb now. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Huge strikeout for Tom Seaver as he retires a Ty Cobb that could have easily tied up this ball game. We go top 8 now. Outlaws in the market for some insurance runs, and they'll be having to do it against Chris Sale. we'll show you some Chris Sale statistics. Show you how he's performed in the Perfect League the last 3 seasons. Specifically versus left-handed batters. And then we'll contextualize that versus Joe Mauer. So Sale turning in a very solid 3 FIP versus left-handed batters. A 1.18 whip, striking out well over a batter per inning. And you see Mauer really struggling versus same-side pitchers. Advantage to the pitcher here. The pitch. That ball crushed! Deep right field! Does it get over the huge wall? It does! Another home run for the Outlaws. This game, the story of Game 1 has been the Outlaws reaching back and putting the ball over the fence. Give them a 4-run lead here. More work for the Naps to do in the late innings. They'll be working against Eric Gagne, a name that we called out in our pre-broadcast prep for this World Series. 2-1 count on Boggs. The pitch. Line drive, base hit to right. Mays heading to third. Will he stop there? He will. So it'll be runners at the corners here for the Naps, who still need at least one more base runner aboard to bring the tying run to the plate. But they'll bring up Thurman Munson now. And Munson already having done a little yard work this game off of Pedro Martinez earlier in the game. Now faces Gagne with a 1-2 count. The pitch. Strike 3 called. Gagne gets the called third strike on a 73-mile-an-hour curveball in the outer half. And that'll be the first out of the inning. And the Naps do not score in the 8th. We move to the 9th. And it's nearly all over but the shouting. As Liam Hendricks in the game, someone had asked which Liam Hendricks Whale King has on his roster. It's this one, the team of the year. Although the card art's messed up. Look at that. It's Liam Hendricks with Eric Gagne's card art. I don't think I've ever seen that before. But I'll show you Liam Hendricks' statistics versus right-handed batters as he faces Rogers Hornsby here with the opportunity to give the Outlaws Game 1. The wind and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. The Outlaws have come into a tough ballpark and will walk away victorious as they steal Game 1, 8-4, steal home field advantage, and then we'll look to further push the pace as we have a quick turnaround into Game 2. Let's look at the box and see what happened. So we see Whale King messing with his pitching a little bit here. This is a pseudo. We see David Price goes 8 batters, which means that this was not your opener-follower mechanic. This was David Price with a batter-faced maximum of 8. Coming in, starting the game, turning it over to Pedro Martinez, who also appears to have had a batter-faced maximum of 8, who then gives it to the bullpen. And Feller runs from there. Seaver, Gagne, Hendricks. So a little bit of micro out of the King here in Game 1. I don't know if we were expecting to see that or not, but here it is in the box score. Price to Pedro to Feller. And it all adds up to a Game 1 victory on the road in a Lefty Cheese Park. Liam Eric Gagne Hendricks. I like that, Yuka. That's good. On the Cleveland side, we see Spawn, who is normally the ace of staffs who play in Lefty Cheese, just not having his best stuff. He went 5 1/3 innings, but gave up 6 runs and was not what the doctor ordered to give the Naps the Game 1 victory or to retain home field advantage. So they burn 3 lefty arms, Spawn, Hahn, and Sale, in a losing effort in Game 1. Let's take a quick peek before we jump into our Game 2 sim about what that means for the bullpen. So starting Game 2, we've got either Glavin or Carlton And then in the pen, whichever one doesn't start, if they get moved to the pen, they'll be the only lefty. And if one doesn't get moved to the pen, there will not be a lefty in the pen. So we'll see if that ends up rearing its head later on in Game 2. So we'll go ahead and load up the sim for Game 2 and see if the Whale Kings Outlaws are able to push the pace. See if they're able to extend their lead to 2-0, or see if the Cleveland Naps show a little fight here and even it before we move on to Vegas. One of the things that we said was important to watch was what was the outcome of these Lefty Cheese Park games. Could the Naps protect their home field where they have their biggest advantage? Well, we will find out here as the Game 2 sim is ready to go. We are starting this one with Steve Carlton. Just for the audience at home, let's look at what Steve Carlton, the starter, has been like in Perfect League. There are your numbers. You got a FIP just over 5. The walks per 9, a lot higher than you'd like them to be. Let's get this game started. Jackie Robinson to lead off. Wine in the pitch, and another bunt. This one fielded by the first baseman, and no play. So second game in a row that we have Jackie leading off with a bunt. And this one does end up in a bunt base hit. I'm curious how many times this season that has happened. I wonder if that bunt slider is jacked all the way up for the Outlaws for their Jackie Robinson. Nevertheless, we've got a little rally cooking here in the first. Jackie is no longer on base. It appears he's been retired via either a caught stealing or a fielder's choice. But we do have Gwynn and Shoeless aboard as Carlton faces Rogers Hornsby here. And as I tick this Steve Carlton split over to versus right, you see the numbers get a little bit scarier. The walks per 9 go through the roof. The homers per 9 rise as well. So a dangerous spot early in Game 2 for the Cleveland Naps as they are relying on Steve Carlton to navigate this early rally. The pitch. Grounded to short, to second one, to first, double play! Steve Carlton induces the twin killing, which closes out the Vegas Outlaws rally in the first. We go top 3, and Carlton's got himself into some more trouble. In need of another ground ball double play here. He's got a tougher customer to get one against in Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn running from the left side of the plate and with some pretty good speed is a tough guy to double up. But that's what Carlton will look to do here with Jackie Robinson on first and Ozzie Smith at third. The pitch. Runner in motion, throws through, and they get him! Jackie Robinson straight steals. Thurman Munson throws down and nabs him. And frozen at third base was Ozzie Smith, not running on the play. And so that is the key catalyst in erasing the Vegas Outlaws rally in the third, a caught stealing, and we go to the fourth. And yet another highlight for the Outlaws. The Cleveland Naps have yet to have one yet this game. Thank you, Rascal7666, for the reminder. I've got to update our little score bug in the top right corner. What should I put? Vegas, Outlaws, or King? First person in the chat will dictate it. Do we call it Vegas? Do we call it Outlaws? Or do we call it King? Whale. Yuka wins the fastest finger contest. All right, top 4. Shoeless Joe up to the plate now facing Steve Carlton. And I showed you the versus right split for Carlton. Let's show you the versus left. He is absolutely dastardly versus left-handed batters. An absolute nightmare for them. 2.42 on the FIP. But let's see what Shoeless Joe can do against him here. Not just a Shoeless Joe, but fire Shoeless. 2-1, the pitch. That ball hit well. Deep left center. It's carrying and carrying and carrying and carrying, and it's gone. Shoeless Joe Jackson unties this game with an Oppo Taco, his 5th homer of the postseason, make it 1-0. And the Cleveland Naps home crowd waiting for their Naps to get into this one. That was a perfect opportunity to make a Nap joke, and I totally whiffed on it. Still top 4. Hornsby's now been retired, and Cobb comes up. 2-2 count on Cobb. The pitch. And that ball is crushed. Deep right center. Get out the tape measure. That was a blast as Cobb goes same side homer off of Carlton. 433 feet, and the Outlaws showing off the long ball in both Game 1 and Game 2 here today. As Shoeless and now Ty Cobb have taken Steve Carlton deep. Bottom 4, Cleveland Naps prove they actually do get offensive highlights, and their first will come in the form of Willie Mays versus face of the franchise Greg Maddux, with 2 away, and with Ty Cobb aboard at first. The pitch, line drive right field, and it gets down. Cobb will not stop at second. Actually, he will. It takes a long, aggressive turn, digs in his heels, and retreats back to second as Mays gets a 2-out single, which will put a couple runners aboard for Wade Boggs here in the 4th. Let's set this one up. So Wade Boggs versus right. Let's go Greg Maddux, face of the franchise, versus left. Advantage to the hitter here, as you see Boggs has that elite level 379 on base percentage and 16 overall bat value per 600 plate appearances versus right-hand pitching. Advantage to the batter, and boy, do the Naps need it as they look to wake up here in the 4th. The pitch. Line drive up the middle. Diving stop at short. Long throw across, and in time, Ozzie Smith strands 2. And he races 1 run from the scoreboard at least. If that ball gets through, it's 2-1, and the Naps are still batting, sending up Thurman Munson to the plate. But instead, the inning is over, courtesy of the Wizard of Oz making a fantastic play up the middle. Bottom 7. Back-to-back highlights for the Naps. And we don't even need to change our matchup analyzer as Wade Boggs is already there. But what we will do is we'll get Eric Gagne in there with him. You see Gagne in short supply here, short sample, only 300 innings, but an excellent FIP versus left-handed batting, although not entirely supported by the whip, walk, and K numbers. 1-2 count on Boggs. The wind and the pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. The Naps have a runner aboard with 1 away here in the 7th as they look to dent that score sheet for the first time. Up comes Thurman Munson. Let's see if we've even got enough sample to see what Thurman did. We do. So Thurman Munson versus right-hand pitching in perfect this week was downright brutal. 127 average, a 285 OPS, a bat value lower than we've ever seen. With decent sample, I know that number's going to come up some. But all that to say that not the greatest matchup here for the Naps, even though this was the same matchup when Munson went yard last game. 1-2 count. The pitch. And the ball gets away. Wade Boggs takes second. That's a wild pitch on Eric Gagne. It's going to break up the double play. And now Munson will bat with a runner in scoring position. The pitch. Line drive up the middle. Base hit, Thurman Munson. Around third is Boggs. He'll hold there. The runners are now at the corners. And Cleveland is ready to put on put themselves on the score sheet for the first time here today. Fans ready to explode. Tony Gwynn to the plate. The pitch. Line drive up the middle. Fielded it short. Able to get 1 at second, but they hold there. So the Naps get a little mini cheer there as they do get on the scoreboard. But just a fielder's choice there for Tony Gwynn make it 2-1. And we see Ozzie Smith removed from this game, giving way to Ken Griffey Jr. Now, Griffey's not the best hitter in this game, but he's someone who can absolutely deliver a jolt when you need one sometimes. In this park, which inflates left-handed home runs, this is just the guy you can dream about changing this game right here. 2-1 counts on Griffey. You've got the matchup loaded in the analyzer. And the Cleveland Naps are gambling here that this is a moment to push their chips into the middle of the table and try to flip this game on its head. The pitch. Fly ball. Deep right field. Back. Gone! Ken Griffey Jr. hits a pinch hit home run to give the Cleveland Naps the lead. A clutch piece of hitting, a game-changing gamble by the Cleveland Naps manager, and boy, does it pay off here in the 7th. The Naps fans, oh, do they love it. Top 8 now. It's one thing to have a lead. It's another thing to protect a lead. And we'll see how good the Naps are at the ladder. They'll start this inning with Chris Sale on the hill, facing Jackie Robinson. A bunt-happy Jackie Robinson. Sale's falling behind 3-0. Wind in the pitch. That's ball 4. Not the most inspiring way to start off the 8th after you take the lead in the 7th. All right, we've got a pinch hitter. I didn't see who he pinch hit for. I think it might have been Gwynn. I think Tony Gwynn heads to the bench as Ricky Henderson comes in here to pinch hit. Let's pull up some Ricky numbers and see what to expect for this pinch hit plate appearance. You see Ricky's got the strong on-base percentage and strong slugging percentage versus left-handed pitching. Someone who can add a lot of value to a team off the bench, whether in pinch hit appearances versus left-handed pitching or pinch run appearances. We'll see what Sale can do with him here in the 8th. First to pick off. Runner back. 0-2 count now on Ricky. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Huge strikeout for Chris Sale. If that was indeed Tony Gwynn heading to the bench, you have got to question that move given that we're in a lefty cheese park. I would much rather have Gwynn facing Sale than Ricky Henderson in this ballpark in that moment there. But next batter up is Shoeless Joe. I don't need to show you the stats to know that Shoeless Joe is absolutely a danger in this ballpark, in any ballpark, but especially in this ballpark, and especially when he's wearing that fire emoticon you see in the lineup sheet. 0-1 count on Shoeless here. Big spot in the 8th. Crowd comes to their feet, looking for a strikeout, looking for a double play, looking for anything to get them closer to their first victory in this series. 0-1 count. The pitch. Fly ball, left center, long run. Diving catch made in center field by Willie Mays. Unbelievable play. That's actually Griffey. Your score sheet is wrong. It's not Willie Mays in center. Griffey pinch hit and has taken over defensively in center, and he makes an incredible diving grab right there. 2-1 count now. Fans on their feet looking to get out of trouble here in the 8th. Rogers Hornsby to the dish facing Sale. 2-1 count. The pitch. Little looper left field. In comes Gwynn, and he's got it. The Naps will keep the lead into the 9th. Here we are in the 9th. Now, we talked about this before the series. Bruce Sutter, closer for the Cleveland Naps. Not someone who is used by many teams in Perfect League as a closer. Frankly put, you see people trusting Mariano Rivera. You see people trusting Trevor Hoffman. Heck, you even see more people trusting Liam Hendricks. But the Cleveland Naps tap Bruce Sutter. Bruce Sutter is the guy they want when the game is on the line and you're protecting a 1-run lead in an absolutely crucial Game 2 of the World Series. He starts off with Ty Cobb. The wind and the pitch. Ground ball, base hit. Wade Boggs was frozen on that one. As Ty Cobb's going to start the inning with a double with a very aggressive turn at second base. He holds there. But Bruce Sutter gives up an extra base hit to lead off this 9th inning. Ty Cobb has taken third base. He's done so either via stolen base or wild pitch / pass ball. Either way, the infield now is drawn in as Willie Mays is at the plate. 1-0 count on Mays, so we're going to get some contact here. If you're a Naps fan, you want a shallow fly ball. You want a ground ball on the infield. You want anything and everything that doesn't allow that run to score. 1-0 count the pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Runner has to hold. Runner has to hold as the new shortstop, which is Cal Ripken Jr., fields the ball, checks the runner, and throws on to first to get that first out. Same situation now for Wade Boggs. 1-2 count on him. If it were me, I'd be tempted to walk Boggs here and then try to get Mauer to get me a double play. 1-2 count on Boggs. The pitch. Line drive up the middle. Diving catch in center field. Ken Griffey's done it again. Ken Griffey Jr. with a Jim Edmonds-esque diving back catch in center field off a laser beam off the bat of Wade Boggs. An unbelievable play. Saving the day for the Naps. Now, it did come with a cost. Ty Cobb was able to tag from third, so we've got a brand new ball game. But it could be a whole lot worse for the Naps and their fans. Still top 9, though. We've got Mauer. 2 out, nobody on. Sutter winds and delivers. Fly ball deep right field. Hooking around the foul pole, but playable. Willie Mays shifting over to right field in defensive alignment there. Makes the play and ends the inning. Which means that we have entered Hero O'Clock. Anyone can win this game with one swing of the bat. We are in the bottom of the 9th of a tie ball game. And this inning will go Wade Boggs, Thurman Munson, who's already had 2 clutch hits in this series, and Cal Ripken. We'll start with Wade Boggs. The wind and the pitch. Little looper, center field. Mays coming in. He'll squeeze it. 1 up and 1 down. And the best hitter slated to bat this inning has been retired for the Naps. So Hank Aaron comes in and pinch hits for Thurman Munson. He does not get aboard. And so now Cal Ripken bats versus Mo with 2 outs and nobody on. Wind in the pitch. Little grounder to third. Easy pitch, easy catch. 3 up, 3 down for the Naps, and we're getting some free baseball here in Cleveland in Game 2 of the 2065 Perfect League World Series. Sutter's going to stay in this game, so he's blown the save, but he's trying to be the guy to shepherd it to victory. He'll start off this inning with Tris Speaker as a pinch hitter, and then we flip the lineup card over, and it's Jackie and Ricky. 3-1 count on Tris. Wind and the pitch. Little looper on the infield. Who's going to take it? Third baseman Brooks Robinson calls for it. Makes the grab. 1 up and 1 down. Jackie Robinson retired next. And then up comes Ricky Henderson. If you're a Sutter, you want to get out of this inning here. You've got Henderson, who is not at all suited to play in this park, facing a right-handed pitcher who is not at all suited to face well against. And then you've got the entire opposite in the on-deck circle. You throw this pitch right down the middle, and you challenge Ricky to see how far he can hit it. Full count. Wind in the pitch. He walked him. Ricky Henderson aboard. A nightmare on the base paths, but even more dangerous than that, you've got a fire. Shoeless Joe coming up to the plate And as our all-knowing, omniscient highlight engine tells us, we didn't even need to see it. Shoeless Joe does not... Actually, no, look at that. Look at your box score. You see Shoeless Joe is still slated to hit. So what that means is Henderson walked, and then he tried to steal and was caught. So Shoeless Joe, in a lefty cheese park, batting in extra innings against Bruce Sutter, was not given the opportunity to swing the bat, and instead Ricky Henderson runs into the final out of the inning. We'll see if the Outlaws pay for that one. So leading off this inning is Ken Griffey Jr. Now Griffey hit the huge homer in the 7th inning as a pinch hitter and has made no less than 2 fantastic defensive plays in center field. Now he has an opportunity to walk this baby off. 2-2 count on Griff. The wind and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Ken Griffey Jr. starts off this bottom of the 10th with a forward-facing K. 1 up, 1 down. Brooks Robinson also retired, which brings us to Shoeless Joe Jackson. He'll face Mariano Rivera here with 2 outs and nobody on. The wind and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. An absolutely perfect 10th from Mariano Rivera, which gives the Outlaws an opportunity to get their Shoeless Joe back up to the plate. And that's who we see here as the Naps are really extending their Bruce Sutter and asking for a 3rd inning out of him here in this one. 2-1 count. Wind in the pitch. Hit well, right field, but ranging over is Willie Mays. He'll put the squeeze on it. 1 up, 1 down for Sutter. Rogers Hornsby also retired, which brings up Ty Cobb as the last hope for the Outlaws to start something here in the 11th. Wind in the pitch. Little grounder up the middle. Fielded by Ripken over to first in time. A perfect 11th by Sutter. And the Naps will have another opportunity to settle this themselves in the bottom of the inning. We're going to go Rogers, Hornsby, Ty Cobb, Willie Mays in this one. Starting off with Hornsby versus Mariano Rivera. Wind in the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Mariano Rivera striking out more in this appearance than I've ever seen him do on this stage. All 3 highlights we've seen from him so far have been strikeouts. Rivera retires Cobb as well, and now he's Willie Mays away from sending this game to the 12th. Wind in the pitch. Fly ball to center. Well hit, but right at Willie Mays. And Mays hits it to Mays to end the 11th. Top 12, and look who's still out there. It's Bruce, just give me that darn ball, Sutter. Going for his 4th inning pitched in this one. He's going to start off with Mays, and then he's going to have to face some real tough lefties in Boggs and Mauer. We'll see how long he stays in this one. 1-1 count. Wind in the pitch. Line drive, base hit to left. The Outlaws have put the leadoff runner aboard. Mays not a great base runner. Boggs will hit next, and Sutter will stay in the game to face him. The pitch. Line drive left field. That will get down. First 2 runners have reached for the Outlaws, and up comes Joe Mauer with 2 on and nobody out. And that's going to be it for Sutter. In comes a fresh Trevor Hoffman. If this inning does not go the way the Naps prefer, the pundits will question whether starting off Sutter for this inning was the right call. But let's play it out first. Full count on Mauer. The pitch. Strike 3 called. Trevor Hoffman, in need of a strikeout, comes in and gets one from Mauer, which brings up Pop Lloyd. My guy. My guy, Pop Lloyd, will show you the split in the bottom right corner of your screen. Pop Lloyd, not someone who can really hit. 677 OPS versus right-hand pitching, which is his best side. Light on the OBP, light on the slug. But he's got a 1-2 count on him and a great opportunity for the Outlaws to push across a run here in the 12th. Line in the pitch. Strike 3 called. Hoffman has struck out the first 2 batters he's faced in the 12th and is 1 out away from being the hero of the moment. He'll have to get Jackie Robinson to earn that. 2-1 count the pitch. Line drive to first base, fielded, takes it to the bag himself, and Trevor Hoffman, the fireman of this game so far, comes in with runners at first and second and nobody out, and gets 3 hitters out in succession, allowing no runs to score and giving the Naps an opportunity to walk it off yet again. Mariano Rivera showing that he can pull the multi-inning relief appearance. 2-0 count. Wind in the pitch. Fly ball hit well. Deep center field. Off the top of the wall. Boggs on his way to second. He'll slide in there with a leadoff double. He missed walking this one off by a couple feet. Instead, he'll settle for a double. But what he's done is he's stirred up the hornet's nest that is the Cleveland Naps faithful. Naps fans come to their feet as they sense a moment happening here. Runner in scoring position, nobody out. Joe Mauer to the plate. The pitch. Line drive up the middle. Fielded at second. Across to first in time. A productive out by Joe Mauer, but an out nonetheless. We've now got a runner on third and 1 away. Now that runner is Wade Boggs, not the fastest runner in the world. If we've got a fly ball, shallow center to Willie Mays, or fly ball shallow right to Shoeless Joe, we'll have it play at the plate. And Boggs doesn't normally come out on top on those. But 3-1 count here. The infield is in. The play is to the plate. The Naps faithful are on their feet again. 3-1 count. The pitch. Line drive left field. Base hit. Cal Ripken walks it off with a line drive base hit signal to left field off a tough customer in Mariano Rivera. And the Cleveland Naps have won the war of attrition that was Game 2. Deep into the night. What a wild one we saw here in game number 2. And what could arguably have been a must-win game for the Naps, they do come out on top in 12. You see the win expectancy chart. This one was up and down. This one had some free baseball for us. Let's look at those box scores. I'm less interested in the starting pitchers, and I'm more interested in the bullpens. But before we move on to the bullpens, let's see what we've got. We've got Whale King doing some more micromanaging of the rotation. We've got Steve Carlton going 8 batters, and then giving way for a 14-batter appearance of Maddox. So not only microing the duration of the starter, but microing the duration of the follower. So a lot of PMC on display from Vegas here tonight. After Maddox, though, we see Gagne come in, and Gagne was the first pitcher to endure some rough seas for the Outlaws as he gave up the big home run. Over on the Cleveland side, we have Carlton going 6 innings, 6 quality innings, spreading around 8 base runners, only allowing 2 earned, striking out 6 in the process. We see Price and Sale coming on in relief. So even though they had pitched in Game 1, both of them pitched again here in Game 2. And then Suter with his hero ball relief appearance, he did blow the save, but then picked up 2 additional innings of scoreless ball. And then Hoffman, another hero for the Naps, as he came in with 2 runners aboard, nobody out, and was able to get out of that jam, which set up the heroics of the bottom of the inning. So here we are now. We're at 1-1 in this series. And that game took long enough where we have already simmed through our off day. So let me load up the sim. I think that Game 3 will have not been played yet, but I'm not sure. Let's load it up and see where we're at. Could be that we could slide right into game 3. Seeing a lot of Super Bowl chatter in the chat. I'm flying blind here. Tell me what's going on. What am I missing? All right, the series shifts to Las Vegas. So we are leaving a lefty cheese park. We are entering a neutral park. We are tied 1-1 in the series. Let me update the series in the top right corner of our screen here so that we don't lose sight of what the score is. So should I do Naps or should I do Cleveland? First person in the chat has it. You guys get to pick your own adventure here. Naps or Cleveland? Walter Johnson will be the starter for the Outlaws. Naps says Rascal. Naps it is. So we start off this game with Shoeless Joe batting leadoff for the Naps, facing Walter Johnson. Now, we've seen the Outlaws be a very micromanaging of their pitching through games 1 and games 2. We'll see if that continues here in game 3 or if we get more of a traditional start from Walter Johnson here today. 3-1 count. The pitch, and he walked him. Shoeless Joe aboard to start this game for the Naps. Next batter up, Tony Gwynn. The pitch. Line drive, belted down the left field line. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Knapp around second, he'll head to third. Tony Gwynn into second with a double. First two batters have reached and now both reside in scoring position as Ty Cobb will walk to the plate here in the first. Full count on Cobb. The wind and the pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Shoeless scores. Around third is Gwynn. He'll hold. Make it 1-0 as the first 3 batters have all clubbed base hits. Holy cow. Super fast forward mode. We're all the way to the 8th. Why did the highlight engine think we didn't want to see all this action? It's 7-1 in the 8th inning. So that means we miss 6 runs by the Naps, and we miss 1 run by the Outlaws. If the sim engine is telling us those are not important, what do we have in store for us for the rest of this game? Is this game about to get all weird baseball on us? Let's find out. David Price is pitching for the Las Vegas Outlaws as Shoeless Joe steps into the batter's box. Wind in the pitch. And that ball is crushed to deep right field. It might be, it could be, it is. Shoeless Joe stretches the lead to 8-1 with a 394-foot blast to straightaway right field. Top 9. Another highlight for the Naps as we heard some boo birds here in Vegas. 2-0 count on Mauer. 2 on, 2 out. Seaver at the mound, the pitch. And that ball's crushed into the right center field gap. 1 run will score. Heading to third is Boggs. He's going to be waved home. The throw to the plate, not in time. Make it 10-1 Naps. Still 10-1. We go bottom 9. And the Naps have tapped Noodles Hahn to finish this one off. He'll try to do so against Pudge Rodriguez here with Hornsby aboard and 2 away. 1 strike from the Naps, taking a 2-1 lead in this series. Wind in the pitch. Line drive right field, but there to grab it is Shoeless Joe Jackson. The Naps have won Game 3 and grabbed back home field advantage in this one. This guarantees them either a World Series championship or an opportunity to play on their home field again. A team that struggled on the road this year and was so successful at home has accomplished their mission here for their games in Las Vegas. Now let's look at the box score. So the Naps, they threw Tom Glavine. Now I was a little surprised that the Naps didn't throw Glavine in game 2. Now you could argue that Glavine, he of the low stuff, is a bit vulnerable against lefties in a lefty cheese park, especially when that lefty cheese park is full power. So maybe that was the decision there for the Naps to avoid that situation. But Glavine is saved for this game, and boy, did he deliver. 6 2/3 innings, only 1 earned run, pitching to contact, only 3 strikeouts in nearly 7 innings pitched. But an excellent outing for Glavine. On in relief comes Noodles Hahn. And of the pitchers that we've seen for Cleveland, very few of them in this series have been right-hand pitchers. With the exception of Suter, I think it's just been Suter and Hoffman and then a bunch of lefties. Just a cavalcade of left-handed arms as the Naps have tried to combat some of those powerful left-handed bats in the Vegas lineup. Now on the Vegas side of things, we see what could have been either a bad start or another batter face max here for Walter Johnson. We'll never know. But he goes 2 2/3 innings, gives up 5 earned. On came Hoffman. So Trevor Hoffman, you don't often see him going 3+ innings, but he did in this game. So 3+ innings, a shutout ball, before David Price and Feller came in and lit some more fire to the place. Having Hoffman go 46 pitches and then Feller and Price go 20+ was probably not what the doctor had ordered for the Vegas Outlaws, as that could potentially create some bullpen issues as we look at games 4 and 5. So in looking at the bullpen here, we do start to see some stamina issues popping up. So we'll have Warren Spahn or Pedro start this next game. We'll see what it ends up being. But then in the pen, you've just got 4 arms that are rested, and only 3 of them really rested: Hendricks, Gagne, and Carlton. And with the amount of pitches that Hoffman threw in that one, you can cross him off for both this coming game and the one after that. So let's go ahead and give the Naps game 3. Big game 4 coming up here. The Naps have an opportunity to really stretch, push this thing to 3-1, give themselves a chance to clinch in Vegas. Conversely, the Outlaws are a game away from giving us a brand new series, a brand new best-of-3 series. So this next game will go a long way in terms of determining who our Perfect League champion for the 2065 season will be. So we've got 5 minutes here until our next simulation. Let's use that time to look at players in Perfect League. What we'll start with is hitters. So what you see on your screen here is the bat value of all the players in Perfect League this season. And boy, oh boy, there's a standout. Shoeless Joe Jackson produced 36 runs of bat value per 600 plate appearances, a number that we've never seen over this sample size. Now, I'll be a little bit of a wet blanket and say that this number is going to come down. With sample size, with these Shoeless Joes having full seasons, with more teams in Perfect League getting their Shoeless Joe, there's no chance that it can stay this high. But Shoeless Joe, at least for this week, was a 36 bat value, 3 times better, more than 3 times better, the second place hitter. That's unfathomable. Being more than 3 times better, at least, than every other hitter in Perfect League. Let's look at the triple slash line that's underpinning that. It was a 937 OPS. Shoeless Joe is a must-have card. Even if this bat value gets cut in half, he's going to be the best hitter in Perfect League. And it won't be close. You gotta have Shoeless Joe. You gotta find Shoeless Joe. Gotta get you some Shoeless Joe. Find those plaque-worthy cards. I'm sitting on a Munson myself. I'm trying to pair a Munson with a friend to create a Shoeless Joe. Haven't been able to find that friend yet. You just need 2 of them. You're just 2 diamond packs away, in theory. But, yep. So after Shoeless Joe, I guess we can talk about the other guys too. So Ty Cobb was in second place. So Ty Cobb wins most of the weeks when we look at this. Cobb behind Shoeless, well behind him. Hornsby at 11. So Hornsby has been looking better and better in recent weeks. Maybe we're having more teams running righty builds. Maybe we're having less teams running lefty builds. But whatever confluence of factors get us to this point, Hornsby has been above 10 on the bat value now for multiple weeks on end. So a trend to keep an eye on. We see Ted Williams. So Ted Williams picking up over 2,000 plate appearances this week, and those plate appearances being very, very good. So near at 10 bat value there for Ted Williams. Behind him is Hank Aaron. We've got our Newberry Bonds. Where's Roger Connor? Here's Connor. He's hanging out at 6.4. So we're starting to see a little bit of the edge come off of the previously meta left-handed bats. So Gwynn and Boggs, still great. Still part of your build, but no longer putting up those 10-plus bat value seasons that we're used to seeing. Let's do some slicing and dicing. Let's first look at versus right-hand pitching. So as we slice to versus right-hand pitching, you see Shoeless's number even go up higher. You see a jump to 44. No surprise that Cobb is the second best versus righties at nearly 20 bat value. Bonds with a very solid 17. So Bonds is someone that we've seen kind of all over the place. We've seen some really huge numbers out of him. We've seen some really meh numbers out of him. And this week, and I want to say last week too, a really solid performance from Barry Bonds. A profile that many people thought couldn't produce in Perfect League. Couldn't produce at the highest level. And Bonds showing off in recent weeks, that's not the case. And he's outperforming what is his most likely competitor for his position, Tris Speaker. So Tris at 13 bat value, Barry Bonds at 17. Let's quickly look at our versus left, and then we'll have a Game 4 sim to jump into. So versus left, the leader of the week in 3,400 plate appearances was Hank Aaron, who absolutely annihilated lefties to the tune of a 33 bat value, which is supported by a 934 OPS. So a really huge week for Hank Aaron. Even better than Hornsby. Most weeks we see Hornsby better than Aaron. All right. Enough show and tell. Let's get back to the games. We'll go ahead and load up our sim for Game 4. No reason to belabor the point. This is a huge game. Whale King needs this game to get back into the series. Now, he has proven in this playoffs that he can go. He can come back from being down 3-1. But he certainly wouldn't prefer to do so. All right, first attempt was Snake Eyes. Unable to get the sim on my first try. Let's try to go do it again. Nope, we could be hanging here. So we're a couple minutes past when we expect the sim to be there, and it's not quite there yet. So maybe we give it a couple minutes and try it again. We can look at some more numbers in the interim. All right, so back to our Perfect League bat value table here. So we're looking at versus left split. And we've got another solid week at Al Kaline. Now, he's a name that I've been talking about as being underrated. He gives you that good 100-plus range defense in whichever corner you're putting him. He can back up center field for you. And he's going to hit. He's going to hit versus left, and he's not that horrible versus right. So Kaline, definitely a card that for a team on a budget, a team looking for a corner outfielder, a team looking for someone who can back up your center fielder, I think Al Kaline's a great fit. You see Willie Mays in big sample here at 15. Cap Anson still getting used. Jackie Robinson, SC, down here at neutral bat. So this is one of the reasons that I don't use Jackie anymore myself. We've talked about how he defensively is not up to snuff anymore. And then as we look at his versus left performance with his bat, he's a league average bat. So if you're getting league average bat on the side that is your best side, and we're having below league average glove, and then if we toggle this over to versus right, let's see what happens to Jackie. So Jackie then goes underwater to -5. Really the only thing that Jackie is holding on to is the value that he has on the bases, which to me isn't enough to keep him in the lineup. It did hurt me when I went to sell my Jackie SE, a card that was with me for a very, very long time, producing a lot of production, a lot of numbers. Yeah, don't get me wrong, Llama. Jackie is cool and good. No one has to get rid of their Jackie. No one needs to not play it. Just purely from a game board mentality. I don't know that he is still quote-unquote meta, which is a word that I know annoys people. All right, let's start this game off. So we've got the Outlaws at home. They are down in this series 2-1. They've got their Pedro Martinez, face of the franchise, their best pitcher going. And they're looking for a big win here to even this series up. 3-1 count on Shoeless as we start this one off. He winds and deals, and that's ball 4. So Shoeless has reached for the second game in a row, looking to wreak some havoc on those base paths and cross the plate and give the Naps an early lead. Tony Gwynn retired, and up comes Ty Cobb, still here in the first. The pitch. That ball's crushed. Deep right center! That ball's out of here! Make it 2-0 Naps. Before people are even in their seats here in Vegas. They're still at the cashier. They're still at the window placing their bets on this game. And it's 2-0 before they even get seated. Bottom 2. Chance for the Outlaws to strike back. They are also facing a face of the franchise, Pedro Martinez. And they're going to start off this rally with Hornsby on first to lead off the inning. And Ty Cobb coming to the plate. 3-1 counts on him. Wine in the pitch, and he walked him. 2 up and 2 aboard. The Naps Pedro finding himself in a touch of trouble as Willie Mays digs in here in the second. wind in the pitch. Line drive, base hit to right field. Fielding it on the run is Shoeless Joe, throwing all the way home, not in time. Whale Kings Outlaws are on the board. They cut the lead in half to 2-1 and still have a rally a-cooking in the inning. Up comes Boggs, and the Outlaws fans stay on their feet. 1-0 count. The pitch. Grounder to short. To second, one to first. Double play. A huge twin killing. Turned by the combination of Ozzie Smith, Nap Lajoie, and Wade Boggs, which will orphan out the runner at third in Ty Cobb and put his fate at the hands of Joe Mauer here in the second. The pitch. Grounder to first, diving stop. Oh no, he throws to Pedro, covering the bag, and it gets by. Mauer not only reaches first, he goes ahead and takes second base on the throwing error. They will give the error to the first baseman here, Wade Boggs. I wonder if Boggs is trained. We'll check it after the game. But Boggs, a throwing error, which results in an unearned run crossing the plate for the Las Vegas Outlaws and tying up the game. We go top four now. To the plate is Ozzie Smith. The Naps looking to regain their lead. They've got Mays on first and one away. The pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Unable to reach for it was the Wizard of Oz as that one squirts through. Next up, Shoeless Joe. 2-1 count on him. The pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Second, short. Unable to complete the double play. It'll be a fielder's choice, 4-6. And this rally now sets in the hands of Tony Gwynn. Runners at the corners, 2 away. 1-2 count on Gwynn. Pedro looking to get out of this jam. The pitch. Strike 3 called, and he does so, and the fans go wild. Man, we're giving up on the Chiefs in the chat. What's the score? What on earth could be going on in that Super Bowl right now? Bottom 5 now. Outlaws with a chance to take the lead. They've got Mauer on first. And a full count for Jackie Robinson. 2 away the pitch. Line drive into the right field corner. Running on the pitch was Mauer. Long run to pick up the ball is Shoeless Joe. He'll not be able to get it in time to prevent the runner from scoring. And heck, they can't even prevent Jackie from finishing out the play with an RBI triple. That gives the Outlaws the lead. 3-2 here in the fifth. Top 7. Outlaws with the lead and now shifting their focus toward protecting it. Tom Seaver into this game. We know that Tom Seaver picked up 138 innings pitched for the Outlaws as their 5th starter. But here in the playoffs, he's repurposed as a pen arm, and he's got a tough duty here. He's going to be working through Shoeless Joe, Tony Gwynn, and Ty Cobb here in the 7th. He'll start it off against Shoeless Joe. 3-1 count. The wind and the pitch. Little looper over by the short area. Oh, wait a minute. Did he drop it? He did. Rogers Hornsby reaches up. It was a mystery as to who was going to call for it. Smith and Hornsby range over. Hornsby ends up calling for it, but then can't retire it. Can't put the squeeze on it. So that puts Shoeless Joe aboard to lead off this 7th on an error. Up comes Gwynn. The pitch. Grounder to second, one to first. Double play. Tailor-made twin killing off the bat of Tony Gwynn, which erases the Shoeless Joe error. Top 8. Another highlight for the Naps. They're still chasing one, and they'll have to try to find it versus Team of the Year, Liam Hendricks, who has the card art issue going again. Now, if you guys remember, in Game 1, Liam Hendricks was there, and then we had Eric Gagne's card art behind him. And here we are in Game 4, with Liam Hendricks there and Tom Seaver's card art behind him. What in the world's going on there? Two count. Hornsby at the dish. The pitch. Grounder to short. Ozzie Fields over to first in time. 1 up and 1 down here in the 8th. Wade Boggs also retired by Hendricks, which brings up Nap Lajoie. The last hope for the Naps here in the 8th. Wine in the pitch. Line drive left field. That'll get down. A 2-out single for Lajoie, which will bring up Joe Mauer here in the 8th. 2-1 count. The pitch, little grounder in front of the plate. Seaver fields. He will not have a play. That's an infield single for Joe Mauer, which will extend this 8th inning, despite him not getting much a piece of that one. And it brings up Willie Mays to the plate in a huge moment here. The Outlaws fans feeling the gravity of the moment. They come to their feet looking for Hendricks to come through here in the 8th inning. The pitch, grounded to short, fielded by Ozzie, across the diamond in time! That will retire Willie Mays and put to bed the rally in the 8th. Bottom 8 now. Outlaws interested in finding some insurance runs, and they'll send up Tony Gwynn against Chris Sale to try to start off a rally. Wind in the pitch. Line drive right through the box up the middle. A screaming single off the bat of Tony Gwynn. And they've got the leadoff man aboard with Fire Shoeless Joe on deck. Fire Shoeless reaches as well, as does Rogers Hornsby, which brings up Ty Cobb with the bags jacked and nobody out. Infield drawn in for Cleveland, drawn in and ultra shifted. No one playing the traditional shortstop position here. The pitch. Line drive to right field and down. Scoring is Gwynn. Here comes Shoeless. He'll score as well. Make it 5-2 Outlaws. Fans go wild. Top 9, and the Outlaws about to put the finishing touches on this one. Mariano Rivera into the game to face Tony Gwynn with 2 outs in the 9th, nursing a 3-run lead. The pitch. Grounded to first. He'll take it to the bag himself. And the Las Vegas Outlaws have won Game 4 by a score of 5-2. They earn their interpretive dance routine out in front of home and enjoy every last hop, skip, and a jump. Let's look at the box score. So we had Pedro v. Pedro, and the Vegas Pedro was just ever so slightly better, maybe even arguably better. We had the unearned run caused by the throw of Boggs to Pedro at the base, which would have ended an inning, but didn't. But other than that, the Pedros were pretty similar. But the Cleveland bullpen, in the form of Chris Sale, did not have a good outing. We've seen Cleveland turn to lefties time and time again as they're looking to combat those left-handed bats in the Vegas lineup. And Sale came in and found himself with a rough outing. 5 base runners over the course of 1 inning, allowing 2 runs that really gave Vegas the breathing room they needed to nail it down. So let's update our score bug. Let's give Whale Game 4. And we should be able to turn right to Game 5. So the Outlaws winning that game means that we are guaranteed to head back to Cleveland. We are guaranteed a Game 6. Now, what will the series be in Game 6? Will it be the Cleveland Naps up 3-2, looking to finish it off in one of the 2 games at home? Or will the Outlaws be up 3-2? Looking for their final win to give them a second Perfect League World Series. Here we go. Big stakes here. These pivotal Game 5s almost always determine who wins the World Series. The Las Vegas Outlaws will send Warren Spahn to the hill to determine their fate here tonight. Nap Lajoie will lead it off for the Naps. Wind in the pitch. That ball's crushed to left field. That's going to go to the wall. Lajoie on his way to second. He'll have a leadoff double. For the third straight game here in Las Vegas, the Naps have led off the game with a base runner. This one coming in the form of a Nap Lajoie double off of Warren Spahn. Hank Aaron and Shoeless Joe unable to bring Lajoie home, which puts the burden on Rogers Hornsby here with 2 outs in the first. The pitch. That ball's crushed. Deep right center field. It's going to one-hop the wall. 1 run will score. Hornsby on his way to second. He's got an RBI double, and he's given his team an early lead here in game number 5. Top 2. Naps get another highlight. We've got Thurman Munson aboard at first base and Cal Ripken at the plate. 1-2 count with 1 away. The pitch. That ball's crushed into the left center field gap. That's going to go off the wall. Munson on his way to third. Ripken heading for extra bases. Munson's going to try to score, and the relay throw will be late. Make it 2-0 Naps, courtesy of an RBI double off the bat of Cal Ripken Jr. Bottom 5 now. Outlaws looking to get into this game. They've yet to find the score sheet. They've scattered 3 hits, but haven't found the right mix to get them across home plate. Will they be able to do so here in the 5th? Spahn delivers. Line drive up the middle, fielded at second base, but no play can be made. Cal Ripken ranges to his right, makes an excellent diving catch, but unable to transfer to the hand, which is going to result in an infield single for S.E. Jackie Robinson. He will stay aboard at first base as Brooks Robinson comes to the plate. 1-2 count on Brooks, the pitch. Little looper. Ranging in is Ripken. He'll put the squeeze on it. So 1 away here in the 5th. So no runs score there in the 5th inning. Jackie Robinson ends up stranded. And we go to the 6th. And the Outlaws back at the plate now. Ozzie Smith to the dish here, down 0-2 in the count. Wind in the pitch. Infield ground ball. Spahn fields it. Throw to first. Not in time. Spahn not able to get off the mound and get to that ball. And that's going to give the Outlaws a little semblance of a rally with a leadoff infield single from Ozzie Smith, which will turn over the lineup and bring up their big bats. The first of those big bats is Ricky Henderson. Much better versus left-hand pitching, and he'll bat with a 2-2 count here against Warren Spahn. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 1 away. 2 away now as we go to the bottom of the 7th. We've got Jackie Robinson aboard again. This time he's at third base. Brooks Robinson's at the plate, and he's got a 2-2 count on him. The pitch. Little looper to first. Hornsby ranging, and he'll make the grab. The Outlaws strand another runner and are through 7 scoreless. Bottom 8 now. Outlaws with another highlight. They're going to start this one with Pudge Rodriguez. Pudge has an icicle emoji, but he has worked a 3-1 count versus Warren Spahn, who's nursing a shutout. Wind in the pitch. That's ball 4. Ivan Rodriguez works a leadoff walk, and that's going to bring up Ozzie Smith. The pitch. Ground ball to Spahn. Spahn fields the second one. unable to complete the play to first base, but they do get the lead runner. So Pudge Rodriguez retired at second. Ozzie Smith, fielder's choice, will stay at first base, and we've got one away now for Ricky Henderson as the lineup flips over yet again. 2-1 count. First, a pickoff throw. 2-2 count now. Another pickoff throw. 3-2 count. The pitch. Swing! And a miss. Strike three. Warren Spahn with a big strikeout here in the 8th inning. And that spells the end of the rally for the Outlaws. We go to the 9th. The score still 2-0 Naps. Now the Naps have visions of expanding that lead before they have to protect it in the bottom half of this inning. And they're going to try to do so by sending up Cal Ripken, Brooks Robinson, and Ken Griffey Jr. versus Liam Hendricks of the Las Vegas Outlaws. And as we see, the funny business with Liam Hendricks' card art has continued. As you see Liam Hendricks, his AI face is put in front of the face of the franchise Ricky Henderson card art. But that's neither here nor there. Let's see what Cal Ripken Jr. can do versus Liam Hendricks. Wind in the pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Cal Ripken will start the 9th with a leadoff single for the Naps. No run score in the top of the 9th, and now it's bottom 9th. It is put up or shut up time for the Outlaws. If they don't want to head back to Cleveland trailing 3-2 in this series, they are going to need to put together a rally and put it together quickly. Now on to the game comes Bruce Sutter. We have seen Bruce Sutter in this series. We called out how Bruce Sutter is a unique choice when it comes to closer options. Not someone that a lot of teams are using in that role at the very highest level. But the Naps are. And they've turned to Sutter once, and Sutter blew the save in Game 2. Now, they were able to win in extras, and Sutter was a contributing factor to that, in that he put together 2 scoreless innings after the inning in which he blew the save. I've put into your matchup analyzer Bruce Sutter's statistics versus right-handed batters. You see a pretty good-looking picture there. Maybe the walks are a little high for my liking. But he'll face Willie Mays here to start the 9th. 2-0 count. Wind and the pitch. Ground ball to third. Very deep, long throw in time. Cal Ripken makes a very strong throw to retire a hustling Willie Mays to keep the leadoff batter of the Outlaws off the bases here in the 9th. One away now. Up comes Shoeless Joe. Let's go ahead and toggle Bruce Sutter's split to versus left. And then for anyone who missed it earlier, we'll show them the beauty that is the Shoeless Joe versus right profile. Nothing but green there, as he is the best performer at all 5 of those categories in Perfect League. Average, on base, slugging, OPS, bat value. He's a monster, folks, and let's see what he's going to do to Bruce Sutter here in the 9th. The Outlaws need a base runner at a minimum. Wind and the pitch. That's ball 4. Exactly what the Outlaws need. Shoeless Joe aboard, and now they can send up Rogers Hornsby in the form of the tying run. We'll keep our matchup analyzer along with us. We'll toggle to Rogers Hornsby rather quickly there. Full count on him here with 1 away. The Naps are a double play away from ending this game. The Outlaws are a long ball away from starting it over. First, a pickoff, runner back. Full count. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Huge strikeout for Bruce Sutter to retire Hornsby. And now this game's going to come down to Jackie Robinson. Outlaws fans on their feet trying to encourage Jackie to come through here in the clutch. He's down on the count 1-2. Going up against Bruce Sutter. The pitch. Fly ball center field. Ranging over and making the grab is Ken Griffey Jr. And that's going to do it, folks. That is a 2-0 shutout for the Cleveland Naps. So the Naps come into Vegas, win 2 of 3 games, and set themselves up for needing just 1 game at home to win their first ever Perfect League World Series. Let's look at the box score. And what we see is a Warren Spahn versus Warren Spahn battle in which Cleveland's Warren Spahn was just better. 8 innings pitched, 5 hits, 0 earned runs, struck out 5 in the process. Gave it to Bruce Sutter. Bruce Sutter didn't blow this one. He had an extra run to work with, but didn't need it. He walked 1, but gets through the inning and puts the finishing touches on his 4th save of this postseason. So this one was a pitcher's duel. You see the heroes for the Cleveland offense there are Hornsby and Ripken. They were the ones that came up with the big RBIs, the big hits in the moments. And now we travel. So the next sim, which is to come in 2 minutes here, is our travel day. And then we'll be in Cleveland. And then we're in long sim territory. So we had a lot of people picking Cleveland in this series. I think I recall some people with Cleveland in 6. That's what Cleveland's looking to do. They're looking to take that first game at home and drive the nail into the coffin. Jay Modenhall wants the Naps. So for anyone just joining, here's what the Perfect League playoffs look like today. A lot of familiar faces. We had Jesse Roach's Richmond Rhinos getting ousted in 3 games by DLL Snowball. We had the Manchego Cheese, 2-time Perfect League champion Manchego Cheese, falling prey to the Brick Green Dragons, champions of last week. We had PGH Beaches going by way of the Yukon Silvers in 3. Only to see the Silvers go down to the hands of those Brick Green Dragons in 7 in the division series. Over on the right side, we've got the Colorado Coomers, Elysian Fields 9. This is a team I haven't seen before. I think that's the guy in the chat right there. I don't know how I say your name. I don't know if I just say Bird, put the I and the 3 together, or if I say I3IRD. It's Bird. Okay, good. So the Fullerton Titans in the playoffs this week. Is that your first go of it in the playoffs in Perfect? Congratulations. It was your first time making the Perfect League playoffs. So the Titans, they lose to the team that now is on the verge of winning it. And you were up 2-0 in that series, Mr. Bird. You were up 2-0 against these Naps and just couldn't finish them off. We see the Hammerheads here. The Ottawa Hammerheads, run by Tech 15. They've been on this show no less than a trio of times, playing for Perfect League World Series, winning 1. And they get knocked out by James B. and his Reno Buckaroo boys. Now, this is a Star Trek reference, isn't it? Someone in the chat help me out with this. I think that's Star Trek. But I could be wrong. As I was preparing for the show and researching the 4 teams that could be, I Googled this name and came up with, I want to say it was Buck, and then however you say that last name, Bokais, as a fictitious Star Trek character who was reported to have broken, what was it, Ted Williams' hit streak? Home run record. Yeah. I think there was a laundry list of achievements for that fictitious character, and they were pretty notable. But anyways, he beats Tech and then loses to the Naps. And then over in the bottom of the conference here, we have Arthur Dane's Florence Renaissance losing in 5 to the Sydney Blue Sox DLL. So a little news for those that haven't been following the entire time. There will be a new entrant to the Perfect League next week that goes by the name DRC Nomads. As I have finally earned my way back to the big boy table. Sounds like a noob. Yeah. If I told you the secret to my success today, it would really be undermining the brilliance of my prior weeks. But today, the kids and I were playing some video games. We had just rented one from the library. We had rented the Ghostbusters video game, and the video game was just too good. And so I didn't manage anything. I just left my AFK team to do what it wanted to do. And then I start getting Discord messages like, hey, look at that. DRC wins the wildcard game. Hey, look at that. DRC wins the division series. Hey, look at that. DRC wins the championship series, and it's him and Bredav. So for I think it's been 12 or 13 weeks since I've been in Perfect. For the 12 or 13 weeks prior to this, where I'm literally managing every single sim, I am diagramming the opposing lineup and figuring out what the breakpoints are and where I want my starter to come out, where I want my reliever to come out. Those weeks aren't the ones that I win, but rather the week that I just say, nope, I'm playing Ghostbusters instead of doing that. And that's the week that I break through. Yeah, Jay Modenhall, DLL kind of broke up. Not broke up in terms of they're not still a group, but kind of dispersed amongst the diamond ranks for the time being. But I know that there is a DLL realignment in a couple of weeks coming. So you'll see them all coalesce right back into the same Diamond League. So the lesson here, Dynamic, is don't try. Yeah, I mean, my build this week was tailored to be a don't touch it build. You know, it was balanced both sides. I just juiced my park. I didn't cheese it either way. So if there is a build that is tailored to be an AFK build, that's what I was going for this week. So this morning when I was like, all right, do I jump in or do I leave it? As I was making that call, I felt comfortable that I had already tuned it to kind of be an autopilot team. And by the time the World Series came around, I was back at the computer watching it, so I was able to put some finishing touches in games 3 and on. All right, let's see where we're at in our sims. I lose track of time sometimes. All right. So we are back, and I've just loaded the most recent sim, which was the off day. And so let's take a look at bullpens. We talked about them potentially being a factor, given the rest that they do or don't have. So the Naps here are perfectly rested. They're perfectly fine. Really, the only pitcher who you could argue you might shy away from in this Game 6 would be Chris Sale. Let's go down to Vegas. Now, Vegas is in a slightly different boat. Now, Trevor Hoffman is still working his way back from that marathon appearance he did in the earlier game that was a loss in this series. He's up to 78%, so he could be deployed. But we are down Hendricks and Price. But there's still enough arms for both Game 6 and Game 7, depending on what type of game we have here. If we're not going 17, 18 innings, this should certainly be workable. And then in terms of the pitchers we expect to see, we're expecting Maddox here in Game 6. Although we are in a lefty cheese park. So we might see Carlton. Carlton is starter rested. So he could be deployed here to at least start Game 6. We'll have to see on that. He is the only lefty that the King has rested and ready to go. So we'll see how that plays out. We are expecting Carlton to be the starter for the Naps as well. Now, in their bullpen for this lefty cheese park, you always want to know how many rested lefties you have, and they do have Price and Hahn to turn to in addition to their icy cold Chris Sale, which we talked about a moment ago. Whale King in the chat. Did not enjoy not being able to push across any runs against Warren Spahn. Warren Spahn is one of those pitchers who can just have your number. Even if he's rolling into a righty-laden lineup, even if he's in a park that's juiced to the max, Spahn can sometimes deliver. So we've got about 6 minutes to kill here. We can go back to our Perfect League numbers. If there are any questions about any particular hitters. And one of the things that always is of interest to people is the performance of middle infielders. Or I should say skill-based infielders. So players that can play second, short, or third. And so I'll go ahead and put up the numbers for that populace there. You see it's headlined by Hornsby and Boggs. Knapp with a really strong performance this season, 5.57 on the bat value. We've normally seen him closer to neutral. So this is a notable development for him, being able to push up over a 7,000 plate appearance sample to push up towards 6. Now at the bottom here, we see Mark Belanger, and I feel as though 1744 plate appearances is low. Is that trending down? Let's look at last year. So we'll go one by one here. So this is 2064. So Belanger was at 2,000. Let's do 2063. Belanger only at 940. And then 2062. 1750. Okay, so I was working on a narrative there that people were starting to move away from Belanger. That doesn't appear to be true. He seems to be in that somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 plate appearances zone on a week-to-week basis, depending on who's choosing to run him. So these are your middle infielders. I'm surprised that Robin Yount's still getting as much play as he is. 4,000 plate appearances with a negative 21 bat value. I would have thought that most people would have moved on to other options. And Jackie Essie still with 11,000 plate appearances. That's a ton. So we'll shift from skill position infielders and go on over to catcher. Here is the catcher production. King Kelly. Got a King Kelly sighting here. 516 plate appearances right at neutral bat value. Not someone I'd recommend behind the plate because of his low catcher ability. We see the best bat in perfect at the catcher positions, Joe Mauer, -8. But if I slice this to be versus right-hand pitching, there you see Mauer creep up and almost approach league neutral bat, which if you're getting a league neutral bat out of your catcher, you're doing something right. The decision point of do you Joe Mauer or do you Pudge, I find really interesting because Mauer is definitely going to produce more with the bat. Even on Mauer's worst season, he'll probably be better than Pudge, than what you can expect for Pudge. But there's that hard to quantify value of Pudge helping your pitchers. You know, is that worth 25 runs over the course of a season? I could easily see the answer to that being yes. So this is versus right for catchers. I'm going to quick toggle here to versus left. And here's where we see Campanella jump. So Campanella jumps to -1 on the bat value there. Pudge trailing at -19, and then Mauer all the way down at -34. Mango Sandwich in the chat sharing that he has that same conundrum, has a hard time deciding between Mauer and Pudge versus right. Whether you punt the offense, go help your pitchers, or you have a bat out there that can put the ball over the fence and win some games for you. Mango Sandwich, the division winner in my division this week too. So I made it into the playoffs as a wild card team. I want to say 4 or 5 games behind Mango Sandwich. Whale King saying it's a toss-up between them all. Take it season to season and see who's hot for you. Yeah, Tech 15. I agree that Mauer is really best fit when you're able to juice his offensive production to really get more value out of it when you're lefty cheesing at home. All right, let's BRB and let's load up a sim. Now we are in long sim territory here. So if this sim is not immediately coming back, it is suggesting what the outcome might be. Now let's remember that these games in Cleveland were back in a cheese park. So we played 3 games in Vegas in the middle of this series. Those were neutral. But here back in Cleveland, we know that lefties are juiced and righties are nerfed. So let that play into what you expect when you're seeing the highlight engine. First attempt at pulling down a sim. Let's see if we have one. Not yet. That was a bit ambitious. That was probably a pre-pull. Too early. Let's try it again. Nope, still don't have one. All right, I'll pull you guys back. And we can look at some more data for 5 minutes before we try again. Jay Modenhall in the chat saying he'd rather take the daily bump in ERA than an extra chance of a run. I think that's an entirely defensible position, and I know a lot of very good players that take that. To me, it's not a question with a black and white answer. So I know that some people have decided, like, oh no, it's definitely Pudge. 10 times out of 10, it's got to be Pudge in any cheese park. For me, it's not black and white. It's more a decision based on who I've got in my rotation, who's got the stuff-heavy profile that can more be boosted by the extra catcher ability. What does the rest of my lineup look like? Am I cutting any other corners for offense somewhere so that I can accept such a 0 at the plate in Pudge? So I'll have some builds where I Mauer and some builds where I Pudge. When I was in Perfect forever ago, and I feel less bad saying forever ago because I finally earned my way back today. But when I was in Perfect forever ago, I think I split it right down the middle. I ran lefty cheese every week, and half of them I did with Pudge, and then half of them I did with Mauer. All right, let's look at outfielders. So we've looked at infielders, we've looked at catchers. So we'll start with just raw numbers for our outfielders here. We see Shoeless Joe running away. No surprise there based on what we've already seen. Cobb, Hank Aaron, Bonds, Gwynn, Ted Williams. Here's K-Line. K-Line's my guy. 790 OPS out of a card that costs what? 45,000? 790 OPS in Perfect League? Yeah, he's a great card. I'm a big fan of that one. Let's check out first base and DH. So we've got Connor holding off Musial still. Cap Anson shrinking down into the low 3s, low 4s. Hey, Tech15, I find it interesting that you observe the difference with Pudge being there in the quantity of staff blowups. And I know that would be difficult to codify into observed statistics, but I could see that being the case. Stealing an extra strike here, stealing an extra strike there, getting yourself out of an inning instead of it becoming a blow-up. All right, let's go try to pull sim again. We are now 5 minutes in to when we expect to get it. Let's see if we've got one. We do have a Game 6 sim ready for us. Let's jump in and see what it looks like. So we've got Steve Carlton on the mound for the Naps. As expected, he'll start this game off against Jackie Robinson. Wind and the pitch. Little looper right field. In comes Shoeless. He'll squeeze it. 1 up and 1 down. We're still in the first, though, and Steve Carlton's found a touch of trouble. That trouble comes in the form of Rogers Hornsby. Let's use our matchup analyzer here. This is one of the more fun matchups to analyze. Steve Carlton versus right. Rogers Hornsby versus left. Keep in mind, a lot of these Carlton numbers, too, in the bottom right corner of your screen are reliever numbers with that stuff boost. Carlton on the hill right now does not have a stuff boost. He is having to do this with stock stuff. And he's got himself into a tough spot here in the first. The pitch. That ball crushed down the right field line and off the wall. 1 run will score. Around third is Gwynn. He's going to try to score and will make it 2-0 Outlaws here in the first. Just what the doctor ordered for the King. We go bottom 5. The Outlaws have stretched that lead to 3. And now Nap Lajoie bats against Greg Maddox. 2 aboard and 2 away. The pitch. Little tinker. Maddox off the mound. Fields it over to first in time. That will end the inning and keep the Naps off the board. Bottom 7. Naps still being shut out. Into the game comes Tom Seaver. And we don't just have any old Boggs at the plate. We've got a fire Boggs. Wind and the pitch. That ball crushed. Deep center field. Tracking as a center fielder, and he won't get there. He leaped for it. Couldn't grab it as that one fence scrapes its way on out of here. 420 feet off the bat of Boggs. And he gives the Cleveland Naps faithful something to root for, something to cheer for. Bottom 8 now. Shoeless Joe at the dish. Naps still chasing 2. 2 away. Seaver winds and delivers. Line drive, fielded by the second baseman. Throw to first, not in time. Jackie Robinson ranges to his left, makes a diving stop, corrals it, but unable to throw it to first in time before the speedy Shoeless Joe Jackson runs through the bag, getting himself an infield hit and extending this inning here at least another batter. That other batter will come in the form of Rogers Hornsby as we load up our matchup analyzer here in a huge moment here in game number 6. Tying run at the plate for the Naps. Speedy Shoeless Joe at first. Seaver on the mound. 2-0 count. The wind in the pitch. Line drive up the middle. That'll drop for a hit. Shoeless Joe around second. He's going to try for third. The throw will not be in time. That will put runners at the corners and 2 away as the Naps threaten here in the 8th. They bring to the plate Ty Cobb, who represents the go-ahead run in a lefty cheese park, facing a pitcher vulnerable to the left-handed batter. You can see from the split here, this matchup heavily favors Ty Cobb, and only more so with Ty Cobb having worked a 3-1 count. Big moment here, series on the line in game number 6. The pitch. Line drive, base hit to right field. 1 run will score. Hornsby around second. He's heading to third. He'll get there. Make it 3-2 Outlaws. And the Naps clawing back here in game 6. Up to the plate comes Willie Mays. Fans still on their feet. Tying run at third. Go-ahead run at first in the form of a speedy Ty Cobb. We've got an icy cold Mays at the plate looking to come through for his team. The pitch. Little looper right side, ranging over and making the grab is Special Edition Jackie Robinson, which will shut down the Naps rally in the 8th. Top 9. Outlaws looking for insurance runs. David Price into the game. The pitch. And that ball's crushed. Deep left field off the bat of Willie Mays, and he did a little yard work. 391 feet to lead off the 9th. The Naps had to scrap and claw to work their way back within 1, and with a single stroke of his right-handed bat, Willie Mays has stretched it back to a 2-run lead. Top 9. Joe Mauer to the dish. Boggs has been retired. Price now faces Mauer here in this Lefty Cheese Park. Line in the pitch. And that ball's crushed. Deep left center off the very top of the wall. Mauer heading into second. He'll have at least a double. He'll stop there as the King is looking for his 5th run of this ball game. Ozzie Smith to the dish now. Down on the count 1-2. The pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Past a diving Ozzie. Around third is Mauer. He'll hold there. Runners will now be at the corners for Ricky Henderson, who is retired. And Brooks Robinson comes up as the last hope for this continued rally in the 9th. Price has him down in the count 1-2. The pitch. Line drive left field, base hit. That's going to split the outfielders. Mauer scores. Smith around third. He's going to try to score. The throw to the home. Not in time. Make it 6-2 Outlaws here in the 9th. Now 7-3. But the Naps down to their final strike. And at the plate facing Bob Feller is Ozzie Smith. Line and the pitch. Strike 3 called. The Outlaws have won Game 6. The interpretive dance routine, a Whale King staple, takes place out in front of home as we have found ourselves in a winner-take-all Game 7. Let's rewind the tape and see what happened. So we see both teams ditching their starter early. Vegas went 9 batters with their Carlton. It was an absolutely downright dominant 9 batters. He was able to record 8 outs. Scatter 1 walk. On the other side, Cleveland's Carlton only goes 4 batters. And 3 of those guys score. 4 batters and 3 hits. Now relieving for Carlton was Noodles Hahn. And Hahn did his best job to hold it where it was. And only after the dam broke, when David Price was on the hill, did Whale King get the needed lead to put this game away. So let's look back over at Whale King. So he goes 9 batters for Carlton and then gives it over to Maddox. Maddox able to get 10 outs, only yielding 3 base runners. And then from Maddox, it goes to Seaver. Seaver struggled a touch, but didn't get crushed and was able to get the game to Feller and get the W. So we are heading to a Game 7, folks. We dream of it weekly, and we've got it again. Who is going to win this one? Who is going to win this Game 7? Do the Naps win? This is the Naps' 7th time in the Perfect League playoffs. This is their 10th season in the Perfect League. Is this the time that they get their first Perfect League World Series? Or do we have Whale King winning his World Series number 2, becoming just the 4th repeat champion in Perfect League here in his 16th Perfect League season and 10th attempt in the Perfect League playoffs? What's going to happen? Slibbert is picking the Naps. Port Dog is rooting for Sheep. The Sheeple King, a.k.a. Whale King. Whale King asking if his opponent is a Discorder. I do not know the answer to that. But the sim is running. So Whale King and the Naps owner, they've had to lock in their decisions as of 90 seconds ago. And now it's just a matter of fate. Those decisions are sealed. You can second guess them all you want, but there's nothing you can do about them. They are signed, sealed, and delivered, and the sim will decide. Das Baseball will decide. So what do we have in this Game 7? Let's look at each team's pitching. So the Naps, they're looking at throwing Tom Glavine out there. Tom Glavine is a pitcher made for the Lefty Cheese Park. Now, I do worry a touch about Glavine in the Lefty Cheese Park with the lefty maxed power, because Glavine, even against lefties, gives up some contact. You see his stuff is only 109. So Glavine is a pitcher that I myself have struggled to find just the right way and the best way to deploy him. But you can do a lot worse than Glavine being your pony for Game 7, especially a fire Glavine and a Glavine that has turned in these performances in the playoffs. Let's look at him. So against Elysian Fields 9, he goes 7, gives up 4. Not a great outing, not a bad one. But then a gem on the 18th of October, 8 innings, 2 earned. Then he goes a complete game in that same series, getting his second win of the postseason. 9 innings pitched, 1 earned. And then here within this same series, pitching in a neutral ballpark, goes 6 2/3, giving up only 1 earned run. So that is who the Naps will be trusting in all likelihood in this game. And he's not going to pitch the whole game in all likelihood. He could, but he's not likely to. And so let's say he gets somewhat deep into the game. Who's going to come in then? It'll probably be Hoffman. Hoffman and Suter to finish this one out. Chris Sale is available. He's carrying a primary role of middle relief. So depending on how far Glavine gets into this game, maybe we do, maybe we don't see him. So it's likely Glavine, Hoffman, and Suter going to be the combination for Wayne here, depending on how effective Glavine is in this one. And now if you're Whale King, you have to ask yourself, what kind of lineup do you want to throw out against Glavine? Now, Glavine is notorious for his deficiency at stuff versus right-handed batters, which can create a huge liability there, but it's still a lefty cheese park. So how many same-side batters do you toss out against Glavine? It's not a question I know the answer to. It's a good debate. You could go a lot, you could go a little. Now, given that it is a lefty cheese park, and in all likelihood you're going to be facing Hoffman and Rivera, I likely wouldn't minimize it too much. Let's go check out the King. So, we've got Walter Johnson as our slated starter. Now, in terms of him being able to start this game with a lefty, I don't think he can. I might have to appeal to people that know how to work the game better than I do. But I don't think that there's an arm rested enough here to start the game with a lefty. You could use the opener-follower mechanic and have Price be your opener, but I don't think that you could actually trigger a VL lineup without having a lefty that could actually start. Because Price is he would be too starting pitcher fatigued to do it. Carlton is too fatigued, and Spawn's too fatigued. So I don't know that he could. So I think we'll see Walter Johnson. All right, we're 6 minutes into our sim crunching here. In another 5 minutes or so, we'll check and see if we've got one. This normally takes about 15 minutes on average, I'd say. So let's look at the offensive performance to date and see if we can look at who our picks to click are from a World Series MVP perspective. So on the Las Vegas Outlaws side, we've got Joe Mauer, who's acquitted himself well here, an OPS over 1, but just a couple of ribbies there, just a single home run. We've got Shoeless, who's gone over the fence a couple times, slugging percentage over 5. Willie Mays is in that conversation. He's played some good defense in addition to hitting. That's probably your inner circle, depending on if there's a huge hero here in Game 7. And then, depending on if you want to give it to a pitcher, there's not really anyone standing out here. Like Walter Johnson, even if he throws an ace here in Game 7 to win it, he had a dud earlier in the series, so he's not going to be the choice. I don't think that you see a pitcher here that's going to get it, even with Maddox having the gem in there. Now on the Naps side, we've got Wade Boggs, who's been the big bat for the Naps. 444, 500, 778 on the triple slash. 4 ribbies and a homer. Cal Ripken and Ken Griffey's high numbers are really small sample there, so that's not going to be enough to get it done. Even though Griffey had that huge moment, I believe it was game number 2, pinch hit home run. I mean, Thurman Munson, look how much Thurman Munson is playing in this series. 15 plate appearances and has not been bad. From a pitching perspective, there's not really anyone standing out here as well. I guess Glavine. If Glavine wins this Game 7 and you combine it with his earlier series win, give him 2 wins in the series, and if he has a downright dominant showing, I think he's probably your MVP. So I like that the Naps are doing the offense first build that became possible when the Thurman Munson card dropped. So I likened Munson to being the right-hand equivalent of Joe Mauer, meaning he's got middling catcher defense and likely a better bat than Roy Campanella. Now that part is probably the part I feel less strong about. I don't know if Munson's actually going to return excess value to Campanella, and if that excess value will rise above and beyond the deficiency on the catcher ability side. And the other downside of doing the Mauer-Munson platoon is that you don't have anyone for late game defensive substitution, for late game ground game control, to throw out Ricky Henderson, basically. So I don't know that I would play Munson unless his bat proved to be well above and beyond what Campanella brings you, and I don't know that we're going to see that. All right, let's go try. Let's go try and see if we can pull it down. Man, I live for these Game 7s. I live for these Game 7s, not knowing who's going to win, having the opportunity to share it with you guys, crown a new champion together. There's no long sim to ruin the secret, ruin the surprise. I just love it. Tech 15's Pudge can't be for life. And I think next week when I'm in Perfect League, that's likely what you'll see out of me. You'll likely see a Pudge Campy combo. What I haven't decided yet is what I'm going to do with my stadium. AFK Life suited me well in Diamond. I don't know that AFK Life can get me through a week of Perfect. I've never tried that. Every week I've been in Perfect has been micro heavy. I think M-Dub's got a great point. But Munson's so fun! I hope I get in the same division as Whale King next week. You want 18 games together, Whale King? Yuka, you don't need to worry. These guys will beat me next week. I'm a has-been. I'm washed up. I haven't been in the Perfect League since, like, Thanksgiving time. It's been a long time. If I am on this picture next week, if you see that bright, shining Cubs logo, I will be a happy man. That's right. If I somehow made it to the finals, Yuka, you would actually be able to pick me to win and not sound like a crazy person. All right, let's see if we can load up a sim again. Now, the last time we were, might not have been last time, but one of the recent times we were waiting on this final sim to come in. It finally comes in. I'm super excited. It's a game 7. I'm dying to bring it to you guys. And I jump right into the highlight reel. And I forget to put the game screen back up. So you guys are screaming at me in the chat. You guys are DMing me on Discord like, hey, idiot, you're doing a radio broadcast. I don't know. Radio puts more burden on the broadcaster, to be clear. Puts more burden on the broadcaster to paint the picture with their words. Dogberry asking if the new Carter's getting any play yet. I don't think so. He definitely didn't have enough at a sample size to show up on our catchers. Skew. Oh, shoot. Gabagoo Luigi is right. Next Sunday is Valentine's Day. Right around the corner. All right, let's see if we got a score. Nope, still not yet. So we are at 15 minutes past the sim. Which is normally in the range of when we can start getting it. I think Whale King's got a good point. There's not many Gary Carters in existence. That's one of the things that skews the sample sizes we see in the data. Like, all of these cards are not on even footing. They all don't have the same supply. So even though one card is used more than another one doesn't mean it's preferred. Like Jackie Legend, just about every team would love to be rocking Jackie Legend right now. There just aren't that many out there. I'm looking forward to more of those being unearthed. I just worry that there's not enough pack ripping out there to get us a good amount to start growing the sample size in Perfect League. Super Bowl blowout, huh, Whale King? You gotta say, this is the first Super Bowl I haven't seen in probably decades. But we're having more fun anyway. We get a Game 7 between the Whale King and the Cleveland Naps. Where else would you rather be? Where else would you rather be? That's my question. Yeah, I was rooting for the Chiefs tonight. I'm a Chiefs season ticket holder, not because of fandom, but because of opportunity. And so they're kind of my B team behind my hometown Chicago Bears. All right, I just tried to pull the sim down again. It didn't work. So we'll give it another 5 minutes. So let's hear who else is coming up. Who else has won their Diamond League? Who in the chat is going to be in Perfect League next week? And if you're in a Diamond League and didn't win, feel free to call out the winner. Let's just get a roll call. Who are our Diamond League champions this week? Who's coming up? Tecate Pete saying this might be in. Let's find out. Gorgo 2005 not on his way up, but what Gorgo is nominated for Rookie of the Year in the first ever Community Choice Awards. Tecate, are you really seeing the sim? I'm not seeing it on my end. I'll try it again. Yeah, on my end, I'm still holding steady. Still waiting. Sim just came in, says Bender Guy. All right, let me try to move it up a day. Maybe it's not in for me because I'm searching for the wrong day. Still don't have it, my friends. Someone tip me what day you have in Perfectly. What day number are we on? Two, 222. Highland Deer's on his way back up. The disgracer of the DLO. I hope I get his division next week. All right, I've got the sim. Oh, man. It is time, guys. It is time to determine who is our Perfect League World Series champ of 2065. I have no idea what this outcome is going to be. We are going to experience it together. We're going to have crowd noise, fireworks. Let's do it all. And let's get it started with Tommy Glavine pitching against Jackie Robinson. As Whale King mentioned in the chat, he's going heavy on the lefties today, throwing 5 of them into his lineup. Only 3 right-handed batters and a switch. So we start with Jackie here to lead off this game. Wind and the pitch and a little grounder back to Glavine. He'll field it and throw it. And we're 1 up and 1 down. We go top 3, and the first real scoring chance is going to go to the King. He's got Boggs aboard on second base in scoring position and nobody out. Joe Mauer at the plate with a 3-0 count. He's swinging away on 3-0, and he crushes this ball way back, deep to center field. It might be. It is a home run. Joe Mauer goes 430 feet to center against a left-handed pitcher. Not what you'd expect to see today, but it's what you do see, and we've got some early boo birds out here in Cleveland. Now, Cleveland had to suffer through the 2016 World Series as their Cleveland Indians lost to the Chicago Cubs in a game that I attended in person and was every bit as great as it looked on TV. And they are having a little deja vu here in Game 7 tonight. Go from 2-0 to 3-0. So the Outlaws scratch across another run and now lead by 3. But, before you get 2 down, Cleveland fans, you've got runners at the corners and 1 away. And Ty Cobb at the plate against Walter Johnson. 1-1 count. The pitch. That ball is crushed! Deep right center! We're never going to see it land! Out of the stadium! 444 feet to tie this game up! Ty Cobb crushes that 97-mile-an-hour heater. And we've got a brand new ball game. Oh my! I don't know if I've ever seen a ball hit to that part of this park. Onto the catwalk above the crowd. What a bomb. We go bottom 5 now. And our brand new ball game has settled in. We're 3-3. But the Naps have Gwynn aboard on second base. And Ty Cobb at the plate again. Cobb, he of the catwalk shot. Last time up, the 3-run homer. What does he have in mind for an encore here in the 5th? The pitch. And that ball's lined up the middle, a base hit. Gwynn around third. He's going to hold there. A 1-out single for Cobb. Runners are now at the corners. Up comes Rogers Hornsby, and Ty Cobb's taking second base. The infield has drawn in. The infield is drawn in. They're going to try to get Gwynn at the plate. The crowd is on their feet, trying to get the lead here in this Game 7. Walter Johnson pitching to Rogers Hornsby with 1 away. Here's the pitch. Line drive left field. It's playable. Is it deep enough? Tagging is Gwynn. The throw home, not in time. Make it 4-3 Naps. Rogue fireworks being set out beyond the left center field bleachers. Still 4-3. It is the Whale King's turn to punch back. And he's punching back with Wade Boggs here. Willie Mays on first. 1 away. The pitch. Line drive up the middle. Fielded at second. Turn. Double play. A twin killing, which gets the fans out of their feet again. Bottom 6 now. Naps with visions of extending this lead. Ken Griffey Jr. on second. Ozzie Smith, the light-hitting Ozzie Smith. We haven't put him in the matchup analyzer. Let's do it now. Ozzie Smith versus Wright. A 612 OPS. Not the guy you expect to come up big in games with the bat, but a guy who you love having out there for his glove. Can he be a dual threat here in Game 7? 2-1 count. The pitch. Ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit. Around third, trying to score is Griffey, and he will. Make it 5-3 Naps. We go to the top of the 8th. The Naps are in range of that perfect league World Series championship. They need 6 outs to go. They're giving this game to Trevor Hoffman. Hoffman's first opponent is Tony Gwynn. The pitch. Line drive left field, a base hit. A leadoff single for Tony Gwynn. Next up, it's Shoeless, but not any Shoeless. Fire Shoeless. And Ricky Henderson has come on to pinch run for Tony Gwynn. The Outlaws are getting into end game mode here, looking to push across these critical runs and get back in this game. 3-1 count. The pitch to Shoeless, and that ball's crushed. Deep center field. Griffey tracking at the wall. It's gone! That ball's out of here! Griffey climbed the fence, but couldn't pull it back. A Shoeless Joe Jackson 2-run homer, tying this game here in the 8th. I thought Griffey might have pulled it down, but he certainly did not. The fence scraper goes above and beyond his glove, and we are all tied up at 8 in Game 7 of the World Series. Up comes Shoeless for the Naps, and we are all tied up at 5. Bottom 8, 1 out. The pitch. That ball's crushed. Deep left center. Back, it's gone! Shoeless Joe Jackson! 410 feet! The juiciest Oppo taco the city of Cleveland has ever seen! Make it 6-5 Naps as fireworks are set here in Cleveland. "6-5 Cleveland." As I catch my breath here, we bring up an icy cold maze. Nothing can happen here. He's got the snowflake. Hitters can't hit with the snowflake. Hendricks to Mays the pitch. Little grounder. Hendricks fields. Throw to first. Not in time. Willie Mays beats out an infield hit, which is just about the only way you find snowflakes hitting today. That kills the rally in the 8th. We go 9th. And it is time for the ultimate showdown. Before this World Series began, we called out how Bruce Sutter was in the role of a closer, not a role that you see him in for top-level teams. Now he has the ultimate opportunity here to make me eat my words, to get a 1-run save, and give his Cleveland Naps owner a perfect league World Series for his trouble. Facing him will be Boggs, and it will be Mauer, and it will potentially be a pinch hitter or Ozzie Smith as we start this 9th inning. To their feet goes the Cleveland Naps crowd. They are hungry for a world champion. They've never had a perfect league trophy hoisted in their city before, and they're looking to start here today. 1-0 count on Boggs. Boggs winds, delivers, line drive, right field, and down. That is a leadoff single for Wade Boggs. The leadoff runner is aboard. Boggs is a slow runner, but the Outlaws already burned their pinch runner earlier with Gwynn, who scored on the Shoeless Joe Jackson home run. So Boggs will run for himself as Mauer comes to the plate. The pitch. That ball crushed to center field. Ranging in and making a diving catch is Ken Griffey Jr. His 4th diving catch of this Perfect League World Series. And he keeps another runner off the bases and keeps Boggs pasted to first base. What a play. All right. So we anticipated that we could see a pinch hitter, and we do. Ozzie Smith goes to the bench. Into the game comes Tris Speaker. Let's show you what to expect with Tris Speaker. He's still one of the best hitters in this game. Tris Speaker, he of the 811 OPS versus right-hand pitching, will face Bruce Sutter. Let's go ahead and load him up. We've got all the marbles in play here. Might as well have the matchup analyzer helping us out. Advantage here goes to the batter. 1-2 count. Boggs on first. Double play ends it. Home run shifts it to the Outlaws. What will happen next? The pitch. Fly ball center field. In comes Griffey. He's caught everything so far in this series, and he grabs this one. That's 2 away. The last thing separating the Naps from a Perfect League World Series championship is Special Edition Jackie Robinson. We'll load him up in your matchup analyzer. Two-two count on him. Bruce Sutter a strike away from winning the World Series. The pitch. Fly ball right field, ranging over his maze. He makes the grab, and the Cleveland Naps win the 2065 Perfect League World Series in dramatic form. Fireworks go off around the stadium. Let's go ahead and give the Naps their hard-earned Game 7 victory. And let's see what happened. Let's see what happened. So Cleveland's Tom Glavine gave a quality start. Gave exactly a quality start and nothing more. 6 innings, 3 earned. Was able to dance around 7 base runners. Hoffman came in and he was the one responsible for blowing the save. He was the one responsible for the home run heard around the world to Shoeless Joe Jackson. On the other side, you had Walter Johnson, a traditional start, not his best work. He gives way to Feller, who has a pretty dominant appearance. And then Hendricks is the one who gives up the even louder Shoeless Joe Jackson homer heard around the world. The Oppo Taco that Cleveland fans will be eating for a decade. And then shout out to Bruce Sutter. Bruce Sutter of the Cleveland Naps. I questioned the brilliance of him being in that role before the series. We saw him blow a save in Game 2, but we saw him nail one down in Game 5, and we see him nail one down in Game 7, only yielding the single base runner and cementing his legacy in Naps lore forever. So that is the series, folks. It was a 7-gamer. It was a beaut. We got to see who won the MVP. It was Wade Boggs. The Cleveland Naps Wade Boggs, as he OPS'd over 1. You know, it's amazing. For Ken Griffey only having 7 at-bats in this series, we saw him make about a dozen diving catches. Just incredible. All right, so here's the image that I'll leave you guys with. This is the final bracket, the final war of attrition that is the Perfect League World Series and how it played out this week. Kudos to the Cleveland Naps. You're a Perfect League champion for the first time. Better luck next time to Whale King, as you just missed out on grabbing that elusive second Perfect League title. But the good news for you both, and for everyone else on this screen, is that you get an opportunity to come right back next week and find yourself right back on this broadcast. And with any luck, you might just have me to tussle with. So with that being said, guys, I'm wrapping it up. This has been DRC. This has been the 2065 Perfect League World Series. Thank you guys for tuning in, for being part of the broadcast, and we will see you next week.